Hello to everybody out there in our extended Montasy Comics universe. I'm Adam. I hope this is Jimmy. And
I am Jimmy.
Well, he definitely knows what Jimmy says. We're going to be talking today about comics. I know our store is called Montasy Comics. It seems like sometimes we get so caught up in the cards that we forget about how beautiful this, delightful little art form can be. But we're going to take a look at a question that a lot of people have been asking us recently, especially as they've been seeing some of the new stuff that's been coming out, which is, what are variant covers? Comics, as we all know, have covers. That's how you tell what the comic is. It has the name, it has the issue number, it's got pictures, and they say don't judge a book by its cover, but you probably should judge a book by its cover, because often, that's what it's there for.
That's true. Oftentimes a lot of people like the different covers.
Yeah. It used to be, at one time, that if you had a book, there was one cover for that book.
Yeah, it's probably in the 80s-ish or earlier.
Yeah. But eventually that started to change, and you ended up in a situation where you might have one book, but that book could have many different, up to 2 dozen different covers, all for the same book. So these are called variants. The inside is the same. I can grab this book.
And this is Amazing Spider-Man #1.
Yes, this is Amazing Spider-Man #1.
Celebrating the restart of Amazing Spider-Man.
Yep. Again, available at Montasy Comics. So I opened this up, we got our first page. I can pick something else up, it might look like it's a completely different book, but if we look inside, same first page. Literally the only thing that's different is the cover. Different designs, often it'll be by a different artist. And this is something that often we'll see, especially for large releases. We'll see a lot of variation, we'll see a lot of different designs there. And I guess the main thing that we want to look at, real quick, we'll touch on, is what types of variants are there and why might people want them. So one of the things that, in addition to the fact that you get such a wide range of cool and interesting looking stuff, there are a couple of cool things about variants. One thing that comes up very often, you might have a particular artist who has a particular style. They might not be the artist for that book, but they might have a particular aesthetic. They might have fans of that artist, and that gives them a chance to work with a particular character or with kind of broadly a particular series, to put another entry in for people who are fans of that artist. I can think of a couple of artists who that falls into the category of.
Scotty Young?
Scotty Young is a great example, an incredibly distinctive style. A lot of diminutive Marvel characters, and he's got a bunch of other work as well. New series, I think, just came out this week. But you might have someone who's really interested in Scotty Young's work, who really likes their work. We used to actually have posters of some of his variant covers downstairs in the main store. So you might have someone who those kind of become a series unto themselves. Someone might be interested in saying, I'm going to collect all of this artist's variant covers because I really like their style, and I don't just want to focus on books that they're working on ongoing. I want to see different offerings that they might have that are kind of a selection of their aesthetic.
Exactly. Or they'll say, you know what, Amazing Spider-Man 1, it's a reissue. I want to be able to collect every single cover of the #1s.
One thing that you'll often see, if you see a new book that just came out, and there are specific variant covers that are significantly more expensive, many times what others are, what the cover price is, that's often going to be what's referred to as an incentive variant.
Yes.
An incentive variant being something that has an actual limitation in the number of books that can be ordered by stores like us.
Yeah, I mean, or another way of looking at it is to say, look, to get one of these copies, you need to order 20 different copies. 20 copies of the base. It could be different covers, but add up to be 20. Or that you need to order 50, 100, 200. Or
500?
Yes.
Yeah, this is a 1 in 500 variant. That means that in order to get one copy of this, a retailer has to order 500 copies total of that series.
Yeah, but I could, if I want 10 of them, all I have to do is order 5,000, right?
Yeah, I think that's how math works. So that's something that you're going to see a lot less of those in circulation because, number one, not everyone's going to be ordering at that volume, so they are by necessity limited. There cannot be more of them than other covers. It's like a built-in scarcity. And beyond that, because of that initial upfront price and because you have a limitation on who's going to be carrying them, the number that enter into circulation is going to be smaller.
Sometimes people would ask, well, how could you tell the difference?
Between different
covers, different variants. How do you know that this is a variant cover and this is a main cover?
Well, I believe that we're going to be diving into the wonderful world of serial numbers, are we not?
Yes.
All right. I don't know how close we'll be able to show this, but maybe I'll hold while you talk. Maybe indicate what the points that we're talking about.
Yes, you could look at the barcode right here. I can't even see the numbers.
Here's an interesting thing. You can't see the numbers, but I think you already know what the last three numbers are going to be.
What are the last three numbers?
Well, this is the main cover, first issue. So what is this barcode going to be ending in?
1.
And what's going to come before that?
1.
And what's going to come before that?
1, I think.
It is 1?
Look at that, 3 1s. Now, what it pretty much means is it's the first issue, number 1, first base cover, and first print.
Yep.
Right? Because sometimes you'll see different covers, but it's not exactly the first print, it's actually the second print.
Yes.
Now, what would be let's say if, there's a reprint of Amazing Spider-Man number 1, but the base cover, what number would that be?
Well, I know that the indication of which cover it is going to be 1. Issue is going to be 1, but printing would be 2.
Exactly. So it's the serial number at the bottom here will be able to tell you what printing, what variant cover number it is, right, and what issue.
Yes.
And that's how we're able to tell in terms of which variant and all that and so forth. So for those of you who want to collect every single issue of Amazing Spider-Man covers, that is number 1, because you just simply love all the different artists that's in here. And I must admit, I mean, the covers look amazing. I'll probably wanted to keep one of each if I can.
Even this one?
Oh, it's okay. That one we could trade for some other things. Because my view is that I enjoy the story. I love the art. I feel like the covers are great. But I always tell somebody if they come in, and this is a switching topic, if somebody comes in, should they spend, whether it's $400 or $500 on a variant cover? My view has always been, it's okay. I wouldn't necessarily spend it because I feel like it's still the same story. The art looks amazing. If truly I wanted to be able to have, let's say, this cover, right, versus this cover, I'm perfectly comfortable with the one that says Amazing Spider-Man for a significantly cheaper price. Now, that's just me. There may be other folks that feel like, again, that they want every single cover, and therefore they'll want to buy those. I'm more of a story, and then cover, and then that is sufficient for me.
Yeah, I mean, I usually fall in the same category. I mean, I think I've bought one comic specifically for the cover that I wasn't going to read the inside of. I just loved the way it looked on the outside. One great thing seeing people come in and buy comics is that everybody has a different approach.
Yep.
I know some people who they're like, I don't care what the cover is, I just want to buy it. Some people might pick out the cover that they like the most because they're like, I just want to buy it to read it, but as long as it's all the same, I might as well get the thing I think looks the coolest. There are some people who I've seen come in, they'll come in every week, they might pick up one series, but they'll pick up a copy of each cover. And I know some folks who come in and they'll look only at where we have the special incentive covers, and they might say, oh, that's just the only one I'm looking for, so that's what I'm going to pick up.
Sure. But with that, what do you think when you talk about comics? Art or story?
I
just did a throw.
I don't know that those two things can really be separated. I mean, when you look at comic books being a visual medium, I think one of the key things, especially in modern comics, is that art and story really are different components of the same presentation. I really don't, like, you can't take any series, whether we're looking at the cover, whether we're looking at the art. I think that if you take one element out, what you have in your hands at the end of the day is a different thing. You might say, okay, or I might say I would pick up a book probably because I'm interested in what the story is versus just something that I want to look at. But there have been series by writers who I love where just it's distasteful to me kind of what the aesthetics are. Not that I think it's bad, but it's just not for me, and that has turned me off of the book. Yeah,
so I mean, I'm actually very similar in a sense that to me, the art actually enhances the story, but if the art actually contradicts it, sort of, then despite the story, I may not be able to focus as well on it. But again, it's each individual in terms of how they enjoy it, but definitely I feel like most of these covers here, it would at least entice me to get started on reading it and see whether or not the story is something that I am attracted to.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that that's one of those great things about comics is that you have all of those different options, but you can take different approaches and still get on the same track or the right path. and find what works for you.
That's it. Sounds good.
So I guess this is the end of our video.
Yep.
We'll say,
yeah! Peace out.